In this video, you'll see how to solve one-step inequalities by addition and subtraction. So when I solve inequalities, I'm going to use the same method as I did for solving equations. And the only difference is going to be here, we're going to use an inequality symbol, and we'll have to graph our solutions. So let's look at this inequality. Negative 12 is less than or equal to m plus a negative 9. So one thing you might want to do to simplify this a little bit is just say negative 12 less than or equal to, if I'm adding a negative, it's the same thing as subtracting 9. And then I just want to zero out the constant that's on the variable side, so I'm going to add 9 to both sides, just like we did when we had equations. And I have negative 3. I'm going to carry down this inequality symbol, is less than or equal to m. And that's my solution. So now I just want to graph this solution. So in order to graph it, I'm going to make a number line, and I'm going to mark my boundary. And my boundary here is at negative 3. Now I see it's less than or equal to. That means I need a filled in or a closed circle right on negative 3. And to decide if it's going to go left or right, well, negative 3 is less than or equal to what numbers? What's a number that negative 3 is less than? Well, negative 3 is less than 0 over here, or it's less than positive 3 over here. So I'm going to fill in my graph going to the right. Alright, here's a problem for you to try on your own. Negative 15 plus x is greater than or equal to 2. So I want to zero out the constant that's on the variable side. I'm going to add 15 to both sides. And when I do this, I get x is greater than or equal to 17. So I need to graph this solution. I make my number line, and negative 17, or positive 17, excuse me, is my boundary. And x is greater than or equal to 17 means I have a filled in circle here. Now I want to ask myself, what numbers are greater than or equal to 17? Well, 20 is greater than or equal to 17, or 50 is greater than or equal to 17. Everything to the right of 17 is greater than 17. Alright, let's take a look at another question. Question 2 here. G minus a negative 22 is less than 31. Well, first thing I want to do to make this a little bit simpler is I'm going to just simplify. Instead of saying subtracting a negative, we know that's the same thing as adding. So G plus 22 is less than 31. And now I just want to zero out the constant on the variable side. So I'm going to subtract 22 from both sides. And I get G is less than 9. That's my solution. I want to graph it. So in order to graph it, I make my number line. I mark my boundary here at 9, since that's what I think G is less than. And I see it's G is less than 9, not equal to 9, so I have an open circle. And ask myself, what numbers are less than 9? All numbers like 8 and 0, all the numbers to the left of 9 are less than 9. And last, 17 is less than or equal to w minus 12. Alright, I want to zero out the constant that's on the variable side. I'm going to add 12 to both sides. And I get 29. Bring down the inequality, less than or equal to w. That's my solution. Now I need to graph this solution and mark my boundary. My boundary is at 29. 29 is less than or equal to w. That means I am going to fill in my circle because w could be 29. And now I want to say to myself, well, 29 is less than or equal to what numbers? 29 is less than 30, it's less than 40, it's less than 50, it's less than everything over here to the right of 29. So those are all my possible solutions for what w could be. And that's how we solve one-step inequalities by addition and subtraction.